to know what you think about Lance Armstrong and all the...
Oh, I had a heated discussion with my son about that a few hours ago. I just came in to the end of it. I guess they're saying he lied in front of a congressional or somebody committee, and therefore he must be put to the stake. Really, this is just another view of it. Put him in jail. Why would we put somebody in jail like that who thought he had to win and he needed help to do it? We can say, hasn't he experienced enough shame? Are we really going to continue to, every time you do something that's against the law, maybe we should change the laws. Hello? Our system of punishment really doesn't work very well. I worked in prisons, not only in the United States, here in New Mexico, at the men's penitentiary over there, and in Bolivia, and I can tell you, put somebody in prison, and when they get out, they will really be a criminal. They will have justified in their minds that you punished them and therefore you're the bad guy, not them. And they will not come back and contribute. So I think it's unspeakable to think of putting somebody who survived cancer, who inspired people. Okay, you can feel tricked if you want. But still, whether he got help or not, he still did it.
Are we reliving all these Greek myths? Is there any way to evolve out of them? Because it's part of the archetype.
Yes, and I'm so glad you mentioned that. And heck with the Greek myths. How about the Colosseum and, throw those, who are they? What are those?
Gladiators.
The gladiators in there, We are definitely reliving that kind of conversation. We have to change our laws. Because external punishment, he's had enough external punishment. If they put him in prison, I don't even want to say it, but I will say that when we feel ashamed of ourselves and helpless, we get sick. Has he not already done that to himself?
Why does our culture punish when people come into consciousness and finally come, start growing and admitting that?
We're afraid of it. We're terribly afraid of someone who might access something that pushes us. It's not because they're different, it's because it makes us different. We don't cognate that, but it's true. That's why we burned the witches at the stake. That's why we've always done that. Wait a minute, you can heal somebody? Wait a minute, you brought somebody back from the dead? Wait a minute, you think you know how to use this herb to heal somebody? Off with your head. Why? Because if you know how to do that, it changes who I am. And so this is why I do this work. We do this work here, looking at incarnations of the soul. Because if you could go back and look at these themes, because Armstrong is just showing us a theme, and he's giving us an opportunity right now. Do you really want to punish someone because they lied? There are cultures there are African cultures that survive on lying. They would never consider it lying. They would consider it creative. Bend the truth, bend what happened, and make it more palatable. So why do we think we're the only ones that have the truth, the only truth, so help me God? Who's God? Anyway.
Is there right and wrong? Is that something?
That is a very holographic conversation. What I say would be wrong would be the law of permission. If you step over into somebody else's field and cause them damage, then that is not the law of permission. But should I punish you because you stepped there? No, thank you. I don't want that karma. I think he's had enough punishment. I think that the only purpose, and it's very interesting to me because I have been with rapists and killers and people that shot people and did horrendous things. I see their soul. Okay, we'd say, this person is crazy. We can't let them wander around the streets. Armstrong, is he going to get you? Is he going to get you? Today in Galisteo, there were 20 people all in their outfits and their numbers riding through Galisteo. No, if for one moment you were inspired by someone who could do something that you didn't think you could do, what a gift. Don't worry about the next moment. That's his. That he lied about it or got help, That's his. But the moment that you were inspired, you were uplifted. And for that moment, you were capable of something you didn't know you were capable of. And you may have applied that in many different ways. So, right and wrong, not the way we perceive it. If you were asking me as a spiritual being, I could never go for right and wrong. Is there darkness? Is there evil? Well, yes. Why is it there? Because we're using it. We're using it. When we don't need it anymore, it will no longer exist. So when somebody's, and I really learned this because I worked with so many victims, you know, this guy killed my mother, this guy did this to my sister, this guy, whatever, and not just guy, excuse me, this woman who's perfectly capable of it. When I would work with the victim and let them go back and see why them, why you instead of that one, it's really illuminating. And all of that judgment and you gotta kill this guy and so forth and so on dissolves away when you see a bigger hologram. What's your part in it? So my higher self says, if someone hurts you, if they steal from you, if they do something, you must owe them on a spiritual level. So when we can look at that, we'll have a different world. Maybe you guys will bring it. Maybe you'll bring it. You know, where it's not for you to sit in judgment of somebody else. It is, of course, just like we would with our dogs or anybody else. Hey, you know, if you destroy something of mine, I'm not going to just sit here. I'm going to say no. I'm going to stand forward and say, no, you can't do that. I'm not going to be run over. But that doesn't mean that we have to get out our swords and throw somebody into the pit. So I think it's despicable that we would do anything like that. There are other ways to rebalance that, and education is the way. So when we walk out of here right now, walk out of here feeling who you are. Not who you are because of what someone else does, but who you are. Because each one of us is the future.